So I recently saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and it was freaking fire. I went in this movie with really high expectations and those expectations were met and then exceeded. And it feels good to say that because I've been waiting for this movie to come out ever since Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came out and they teased Shadow in the post-credit scene. So I've been waiting a long time for the third installment in this trilogy, or soon to be franchise, as Sonic 4 is confirmed to be in the works. But it was definitely worth the wait and I'm going to be talking about it. But as always with my movie reviews, this video will include spoilers for Sonic 3, which is what I'm going to be calling this movie for simplicity's sake for the majority of this video. So if you don't want to get spoiled and you want to experience this movie for yourself, then I suggest you click off this video right now. You're still here? Alright, let's do this. So the first thing I really liked about the movie, and I'm gonna just get this out of the way, the CGI, it is freaking phenomenal in this film. There were a few scenes where I was just in awe of just how good this movie looked. Whoever was in charge of the CGI, not only do they deserve a raise, but they knocked it out of the park to infinity and beyond. As you can clearly tell, they did not cut a single corner, especially when it came to Shadow, who I thought looked the coolest. I mean, every scene he was in was just done so incredibly well. And speaking of Shadow, I actually thought Keanu Reeves did a really good job when it came to voicing him. Much like Chris Pratt voicing Mario for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, I was actually surprised with how good of a job Keanu Reeves did. And I do hope we get to see more of Shadow in the fourth movie, which, if you missed it, in the second post-credits scene, it is confirmed that Shadow was actually alive after he sacrificed himself so that way the Earth wouldn't get nuked. So while it is cool that Shadow is still alive, how the heck did he survive that massive explosion? I mean, did you see that? It looks like it created a tiny little galaxy in the sky. But anyways, another thing I liked was the amount of fan service that it had, which it wasn't a lot, but it was really freaking cool what they put in here. And you all know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, not only do we get to see Super Sonic and Super Shadow fight, I mean, that was freaking awesome. But later on, when they team up and they're fighting all those robots in space, we get to hear Live and Learn in the background as they're just like fighting the robots. I mean, that was so freaking cool. But by far my favorite scene in the whole movie was the big climatic battle between Sonic and Shadow. I mean, up until that point, the movie had been building it up quite a lot, and when Sonic went super and started fighting Shadow, that was already really cool. But when Sonic went super again and then Shadow went super, I was like, no freaking way. And then the fight that ensued between them was so freaking cool to watch, and I think during that fight you could hear Live and Learn start to play, which just elevated the scene even more. One minor complaint I do have though is that I wish the fight was a little bit longer. I wish we got maybe like 10 to 20 extra seconds of them just duking it out, because before you know it, the fight's over and you're just left sitting there like, wait, what? It's already over? But I am happy with what we got. I mean, it was just so awesome to watch unfold, especially with the amazing CGI. I mean, Super Sonic and Super Shadow looked phenomenal on screen. So the action in the movie was very good, and so was the comedy. I actually found a lot of the comedic segments to be enjoyable, and there's one really good joke that I loved where Eggman and Gerald Robotnik, who is Eggman's grandpa, are both mirroring each other, and since they're both played by Jim Carrey, they say to each other, it's almost like we're being played by the same actor in a movie, and they both look at the camera, and I just thought that joke was super clever. Now, while I did like the comedy, there were points in the movie where I felt like it was a little too much, specifically towards the end when Sonic and Shadow are fighting off those giant robots in space. It just kept cutting repeatedly to Eggman and Robotnik fighting each other with their nanotechnology, and while it was entertaining to watch, it kept cutting to them fighting like every 30 seconds, and the scene always went on for a little too long in my opinion. Like, especially when it got to the part where Eggman was fighting Robotnik with his mantis arms, I was kind of just like, alright, can we cut back to Sonic and Shadow destroying robots, please? Thankfully though, the comedy wasn't too much and it didn't completely ruin the movie for me, unlike some other movies out there. But overall, I give Sonic the Hedgehog 3 a very solid 7 out of 10. If you like Sonic, or if you like the past two movies, then obviously you're definitely going to like this movie. But if you don't, then I'd say steer clear of it. One thing I do want to address, and this is completely unrelated to Sonic 3, is that if I do sound a little different in this video, that's because I'm currently sick, because of course I am. I just couldn't leave 2024 healthy, but anyways, that is going to do it for the video. Thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.